Coffee by me a little bit of caffeine this morning. So. Today is a mythical whiskey from Moonshine. Yeah. Back in the 1920s. Weird thing.
Later. I told you.
Got it. My neighbor name is Scott.
All right, everyone, please be seated. I hope everyone had a chance to walk to lunch and then stroll back and not be in too much of a hurry. So is everyone still wide awake? All right, that doesn't sound right. Is everyone still wide awake?
Yes.
All right. So what's going to end up happening, please remember my previous instruction. You know what your numbers are if you need to stand so that the court reporter can hear. We've switched out court reporters, so the same applies to this court reporter as well. The other court reporter had something, prior engagement that they needed to take care of, but we still have a court reporter. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the defense. The defense will have 20 minutes to speak with you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I begin?
Yes,
If I could just have a 5-minute heads up.
yes.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all doing today? Thank you. As you heard earlier, my name is Adam LaHood. I'm a defense attorney. It's my privilege and pleasure to be here today representing Ms. Shelby Rodriguez. Amy Owens, my co-counsel, has helped me out throughout this whole process. So we're here for Verdire, State of Texas versus Shelby Rodriguez. And what does Verdire mean? Anyone know? It means to say or speak the truth. Okay. Coincidentally enough, there's another term in legal called verdict, which also means to speak the truth. Veritas dictatum, right? And that's what we're here for, is the truth. Especially during this process, I'll tell you something. There's no right or wrong answers, only honest answers. Even if you think it's silly or dumb, I want to hear from you. But most importantly, I want you just to be truthful. I promise you, you have my appreciation, the court's appreciation, everyone's, okay? Start a question for you. What is the most important document that you've ever signed in your life? Let me ask you, do I have any veterans in here? Well, first and foremost, thank you for your service. At some point, I'm assuming you had to sign a contract. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, pretty important. Something you signed away you possibly could even kill. At the end of this term, we're going to ask the 12 lucky you that are selected for this process to sign something that's equally, if not more important. And that is this. It's a sample verdict form. I typed this up. They all kind of look a little bit differently. But on this form, it says, we, the jury, find Shelby Rodriguez either guilty or not guilty. We're on the criminal side of the courthouse. On the red brick building that we have over there, they're dealing with civil cases, your family law matters, monetary disputes, things of that nature. All very important. I'm not going to take away from that. But on this side exclusively, we're dealing with somebody's life and liberty. Okay. And that's a tremendous responsibility. And that's why it's absolutely important that you talk to us and let us know what you're thinking. Fly through some of this. This is just what the law says. Aggravated assault, a deadly weapon is. Many things can be a deadly weapon: a firearm, knife, bat, stone, glass, rock. We're not going to get into the specifics of the case with you, but just understand that it's either somebody assaulting or threatening to assault. Not what rises to the level of ag assault, the deadly weapon. Again, I think we told you no wrong answers, only honest answers. Judge Boyd hit on this. There's a massive range of punishment in this. You can assess anywhere from probation on a case all the way up to 20 years in prison. And that is a very, very wide range, okay? Kind of unique to Texas law. A lot of states have much narrower ranges. However, that's just the way we do it. Just a question, and you don't know specific facts, but just knowing that it's an aggravated assault, is there anyone here who could never consider probation for this offense? You're saying you're here, if they were convicted, it doesn't matter if it was threatening with a gun, a knife, a glass bottle, whatever. You could never consider probation under any circumstances. Number 49. Thank you, sir. Number 19.
Not necessarily. I'm just a little fuzzy on what we mean by aggravated.
So aggravated assault is an assault is either threatening to cause bodily injury or harm or actually causing bodily injury or harm. What makes it aggravated is the addition of an allegation of a deadly weapon. Deadly weapon can be a firearm, it can be a knife, it can be a club, glass bottle. In most cases, you're talking about a knife or a firearm. Okay, that's what makes it aggravated assault. And as a result, it raises it from what would be a misdemeanor up to a felony. But good question. So number 49. Anyone else? All right. Gonna kind of pass that one. Talk about burden of proof in a case. We tell you the burden of proof is always on the state to prove each and every element of the offense. All right. You saw the prosecution here show you something says on or about a certain date in Bexar County, Texas, a defendant, namely Shelby Rodriguez, did and there commit the offense of aggravated assault against the peace and dignity of the state, etc. So they have to prove each and every element. So let me ask you, let's say that you heard the evidence, you heard everything, but it turns out that you think it actually happened in Guadalupe County. What would your verdict have to be?
Not guilty,
Not guilty. Who said that? Number 27. Why is that?
because it's not in the county in which she's been accused.
Absolutely. Did everyone hear that and understand that? Okay. You may think it's a technicality, but it's very, very important. Okay. We have these safeguards in place to protect the accused, to protect society at large. And it is always the state's burden to prove each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt. So if you had, for some reason, a doubt as to which county it happened in, you would have to acquit. Does everyone understand? Okay. And we talked about what is beyond a reasonable doubt. Judge Boyd made reference to it. They used to have a definition for us before I started practicing law. The state got rid of it, and then the federal system followed shortly thereafter. We can't tell you what that number is. Number one thing is people say, well, they have to be 70%, they have to be 65%, they have to be 90% sure. I don't know, and I can't tell you. What I can tell you is there's different degrees and different levels. I know it's kind of a small screen, but down here we have reasonable suspicion. That's enough for a cop to pull you over just to see kind of what's going on, right? Maybe you see some swerving, thinks there might be some drinking and driving going on, just enough to kind of stop and investigate. Lowest level of the spectrum. Beyond that, we have probable cause, which is less than 50%, and that is enough to arrest somebody. Doesn't mean they're going to get convicted, but they could be arrested, taken downtown, magistrated, put through the whole process. And a cop doesn't have to even be 50% sure on that. Beyond that, we have what's called preponderance of the evidence. My apologies, the screen shrunk it down for some reason. Preponderance of the evidence is 50% plus just a tiny bit more. So if you think about a scale that's perfectly balanced, even a slight feather, a peppercorn on one side or the other is going to tip it and one side's favor the other. That's enough to prevail on preponderance of the evidence. That's what you have in a civil case. If you have like a car wreck case, rear-ending, slip and fall, things of that nature. Beyond that, we have what's called clear and convincing. These are CPS cases. If a case of child neglect or abuse is proved by clear and convincing evidence, the state can actually remove a child from their parent's home, possibly even remove them from their custody, potentially forever. Okay? That's clear and convincing evidence. That's still not as high as beyond a reasonable doubt. And we can't tell you where this number goes, but beyond a reasonable doubt is how high and how certain you must be of every element before you convict somebody of a criminal offense. Okay? It goes back to what we were talking about, why we have such a high burden. You're dealing with people's liberty. You're dealing with people's lives, and the state always has the burden to prove each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt. If you have a doubt as to anything in there that they think they fell short of it, Even if they hit 9 out of 10, 99 out of 100, and there was 100 elements, but that one you just weren't sure on, you still must acquit. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
In the penal code, we have different, we have offenses. There's also justifications, and what we have is self-defense. This is straight from the code, chapter 9.31. You don't need to memorize this. Anyone selected for the jury, you don't have to memorize any law. The court will give you the charge. They'll give you all the law. All you have to do is listen to evidence and make a decision what you believe. Basically, it says a person is justified in using force against another when to the degree the actor reasonably believes the force is immediately necessary to protect the actor against the other's use or attempted use of unlawful force. So what does that mean? It means if you're walking down the street, somebody comes up, pushes you, and takes a swing at you. Does everyone understand that you have a right to fight back?
Yes.
All right. That's what self-defense is talking about. There's different levels of self-defense, and this is something that we largely leave up to the jury if it comes up at all. Self-defense could include all the way up to the use of deadly force. It could even include a defending person killing their attacker if it was called on. Okay. So again, just as you saw in the punishment range, there's a wide range as to what can be justified for self-defense. Again, deadly force is justified if the actor reasonably believes the deadly force is immediately necessary to protect the actor against the other's use or attempted use of unlawful deadly force. Okay. So again, somebody threatens you with a gun, a knife, a club, whatever. You are allowed to display deadly force, or in some cases, even shoot up to killing the person if it was necessary to defend your life and person. Okay. Is there anyone who thinks that a person is never justified in using should be deadly force against another person, no matter the circumstances? And let me explain a little bit about what deadly force is. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to stab, shoot, club someone. It could be the display of a firearm, display of a knife, saying back off, get away from me. I don't want to hurt you. That actually rises to the level of deadly force, but it could be justified as we just saw. So I said lethal. That was a typo on my part. Should be deadly force. Do you think that, it's an unfortunate deal, but if you're being threatened, you don't have a right to use deadly force in self-defense. If you feel that way, it's fine. Just let us know. Anyone? All right. Does anyone have any religious, moral, or ethical obligations to considering threatening another human's life to be justified? So maybe you have deeply held religious beliefs. I think we hit on this already. But does anyone thinks due to personal religious conviction that somebody is never justified in using deadly force no matter what the circumstances? Anyone? That's not one. Here's a question for you. State asked you, and I know a lot of cards went up, of how many people were either victims or new victims of domestic violence, correct? All right. It's something that I think to great benefit has gotten a lot more publication in the press. It's come to light. It's no longer the dirty secret that happens behind closed doors, because nobody deserves to be abused. Nobody deserves to be a victim. All right. I think we can all agree on that, correct? How many people think that victims of domestic violence and abuse always speak out immediately against their attacker? So you get hit, something happens, no matter what, they're going to run immediately and go to the police, tell someone. How many think the opposite? That a lot of times they internalize it and they don't see. Okay, I don't need to call up the numbers. Ma'am, right here in the front row. What's your name? Kate, would you stand up, please? Sorry to pick on you, but I just needed somebody. I think you raised your card for this one. Why do you think domestic violence victims don't always speak out?
I think it's kind of a muddled issue. There's a lot of shame. There's love for the person that may be doing the abusing. It's really complicated and everybody has their own reasons.
Okay, thank you very much. Does everyone agree with Kate? All right, okay. So we have domestic violence, we have domestic abuse. Again, it's kind of a nasty, dirty secret, but unfortunately, no, it's prevalent throughout the country and indeed throughout the world. Any opinions? Do you think it's more common that a domestic violence victim will lie and cover for their abusive partner? Kind of what Kate was just talking about. So, how'd you get the black eye? Well, I fell down, or, something happened, a door swung open and hit me. People think, how many of you think that kind of thing happens? A lot of us, right? And I think we understand why, correct? There could be shame. How many think domestic violence victims are fearful for their life? All right. Maybe they're afraid to leave for reasons, breaking up families, things of that nature. Okay. We talked about this whole process that you have a duty to serve, and all of you are fulfilling that duty by showing up here today. And again, you have my thanks, and I mean that sincerely. Jury duty is not fun. I think y'all get paid, was it $10 a day or something? It's whatever it is. 20, my goodness, they went up. Last time I did it was 6.
Yeah.
But still, if it was 200, it's probably not worth it. It's not a fun procedure, but this is something that simply can't happen without all of you here, okay? And you have a duty to serve, but equal to that, you also have a duty not to serve in some circumstances. Let me explain what I mean by that. Each of y'all are different. I get about 20 minutes to talk to you, try to get to know you. You try to get to know me. Truth is, we could spend a year together, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to know 65 of you well enough, to call your friend, right? I don't know where you come from in your experience, but if you cannot be fair to both sides, so you have a prejudice and goes where, man, I'm gonna be pro-defense and I just don't believe anything the state says, or vice versa, you just don't believe the defense, please let us know, okay? You have a duty to both sides to serve, and I mean that when I say it. Even if you're gonna be pro-defense and you can't talk to the state, we want a fair trial. We need a fair trial. Our whole system depends upon it. Y'all, everyone understand that?
Yes.
Let me see if I have the example in here. I'll just tell you a quick thing. Kind of funny story. When I got last time I was up for jury duty, it was about 5 years ago. Literally the day before, I got rear-ended and I got hit by an uninsured motorist. It was bad, right? My car was totaled, everything. I mean, I was going to be out money, and I wasn't happy. So it turned out I actually got called for a criminal trial. Now, how many think? Let's say I went and it was a car accident case on the civil side. Do you think that maybe my judgment could have been clouded by what happened? Right. I'll tell you, absolutely, it would have been. I try to be fair to everyone, try to be honest, but I'm a human. I think everyone is, and that's what we're trying to say. Just because you may not be the right juror for this case doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're not doing your duty. Just not every case is right for every person. And that's something you think, that's what we're trying to just have you talk to us about it, and we can fix it.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're gonna fly through this part. Presumption of innocence. Somebody raise their card. Who knows what that means? Presumption of innocence. 34.
You're presumed innocent.
Absolutely. Thank you. So as it stands right now, Shelby Rodriguez is presumed innocent. That means we sat 12 of you, the judge said, okay, you need to go back now. You didn't hear any evidence. Go find a verdict. What is the only verdict that you could ever possibly return? Not guilty, right? You haven't heard any evidence. In fact, I'll tell you, it's the only presumption that carries throughout the entire trial proceeding. A defendant is presumed innocent up until the moment the jury says otherwise, namely saying that we find them guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. As I said, it's the only presumption. We went through a lot of this stuff. Types of witnesses you expect to hear from in a case. Might hear from the complainant, alleged victim. Agreed. Possibly eyewitnesses, police officers. How many think that a police officer's report would be helpful to see and read? All right. You're not going to see a police report. Does anyone know why? It's hearsay. Okay. Everything we do, every step we take is governed by the rules of evidence. Okay. In that case, it's an out of court statement. It's not going to come into evidence. And I like that example because sometimes jurors get mad thinking that we're hiding something from you. That's not the case. There's just rules. There's a lot of stuff that we get to see and everything's behind the scenes that doesn't make it to a trial just because that's what the rules say. What are some things that we look for when we evaluate a person's credibility? Anyone, just raise your card. Oh, come on, don't make me call someone. No one? 34.
I'm good at this, I'm good. Evaluate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna need you to speak up so the court reporter can hear.
History of the alleged crime.
Like background history?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe body language, right? Consistency in the story. history of dishonesty, or common sense. We have the Fifth Amendment. I know we're running short on time. Basically, it means that a person cannot be called to bear witness against himself. So during the state's case, they can never call Shelby, they can never call any defendant to testify. If a defendant chooses to testify, she could do so on her own, but the state cannot compel her. Does everyone get that? All right. And we talk about why people don't testify. Nervousness. Real quick, when they did a psychological study of the greatest fears of Americans back in the late 90s, fear of dying was number 2. So you want to know what number 1 was? Public speaking, yeah. It's a miserable experience for a lot of people to stand up and talk, right? We chose somehow to do this for a living, but it can be nerve-wracking for somebody to talk. Could be lack of memory, they're blindsided by allegations, fear of public speaking. Just simply some people don't talk well. You understand? Get past that. Kind of a catch-all question here. Is there anyone who feels they cannot be a fair and impartial juror for any reason that we haven't covered? I think we've covered a lot of it, religious objections, but there's something that would make you unfair and biased. This is your chance to let us know. Is there anyone for any reason we haven't covered? Just raise your card and let us know. 32.
Transparency, I think that's what is going through this process right now, so.
Okay. And do you think it would prohibit you from serving as a fair and impartial juror?
I think so because it's my stepson and so the circumstance behind anyone else.
I got you. So I got to nail you down to an answer. The way I always say this, it's like you're getting married, right? You're sitting there across your husband. They ask him, do you take her to be a lawfully wife? And he says, me. It just doesn't work, right? So I need a yes or no. Do you, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that, but it's just what we need. Okay, and I appreciate your honesty. Anyone else? 30. Yes, sir.
Yeah, similar situation.
Just going through some.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to talk over you. My apologies.
Yeah.
That was number 3.
No worries.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right. And the last one, it's kind of a catch-all. I know we're almost out of time. Anything else that we can't get there, and perhaps there's something going on with you. You're in physical pain. You have a bad spine or bad back. You can't sit through something. Is there anyone that has any kind of ailment like that that would prohibit you from sitting on this jury? Number 62.
My favorite, so if you want. It's hard for me to get up.
Okay.
So.
I understand. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? I think we're out of time.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have you all step outside, leave the numbers behind, and then we will call you back in and let you know who's been selected for this jury. So do not leave.
Okay.
Just step outside for a moment.
Would you like to sit on the side?
All right, so everybody, you all agreed that
It's your seat.
you all will take up your opening statements today in defense, if you have any opening statements, and then there'll be one witness called today. And then we will have Thursday afternoon, we'll start at 1:30, and then Friday is all day.
Yes, Your Honor.
With that schedule, I think we
And-
can pretty much do closing on Friday.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Right, and then you all will have a jury charge before you leave here today, because we're nothing if not efficient here. Right? And so-
Is it the subarctic temps keep you all on your toes?
I've already anticipated that based upon the board here.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to tip my hand,
Yeah,
but
You only have so many
You only
options.
kind of really, yeah.
so I've already
We have lots of
anticipated the
options.
self-defense, so. And then we will, and I'm assuming, is there gonna be of third persons or just self?
no, I don't think third person's gonna come in. No.
All right, so we'll make sure it's there.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Do I have a time for a quick question break, Your Honor?
You have 5 minutes.
I'll be back in less than 5.
Ashley, you want candy?
All right, should I put you on time?
Does she want any candy?
No, I'm trying to do the diet thing.
I'll go for
Yeah.
it. Huh?
Is it fat free?
Oh, yeah.
No sugar?
Uh-huh.
No, okay, you sound
No.
like Deputy Lord.
No.
No. Well, okay, let me just tell you what I've been doing for the weight thing. I have been doing the calorie counting, which some people say that's a good thing, that's a bad thing. So I ended up going to have lunch with a friend over the weekend at the Cheesecake Factory, right? And so they say, if you're gonna calorie count, you've got to be honest with yourself. So we're there and they say, Stephanie, ooh, let's look at the cheesecake.
Oh.
So I look at a slice of cheesecake. I said, well, here's the question I have to answer for myself. I said, if I eat this cheesecake, yeah, I said, if I eat this cheesecake, that means I can't eat anything else for the rest of the day. And I have to borrow calories from tomorrow. Like I'm in debt. So they're like, Stephanie, are you going to actually not eat it? I'm like, no. I'm like, that's a price that I am not willing to pay.
I actually
So-
lost weight when I came back from my cruise. I
Mhm.
was like 6 pounds lighter. It was all the walking.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I walked like 25 miles in one day. It was just.
That's why I love being in Europe. You can walk everywhere. That's how you can eat everything. You can walk, you're walking everywhere.
That's what we did in Montana. Like, all they do is hike everywhere. And I was like, at 8,000 elevation. I was dying.
Okay, but then now that you've done that, Amy, you're ready for the Olympics. What spot can the US put you in?
Yeah, no.
Uh-huh.
Well, the highest mountain I ever climbed was 14,000 feet and outward bound when I went over
wow.
the summer for 19 days with the backpack on my back, just hiking Telluride.
We were in Paris and we were on the outskirts of Paris where they filmed Valkyrie or whatever. So we were going to see the castle. I was in the vehicle in the back seat. 2 women from Spain and another friend, right? The women from Spain, when the driver went to pick them up, they're outside just smoking, right? It's an older lady. And at that time, with my age, she's probably maybe 20 years older than me. So she's in her late 60s, early 70s. We go to the castle, but the time we get out of the vehicle, she's lighting up again and our companion is lighting up again. And we get to the castle and I'm saying to myself, these people are not going to make it up these stairs. So next thing I know,
Okay.
I'm climbing up the stairs and they are steep because people were teeny tiny, right? And nobody had any type of,
Okay.
designs where it says this is the length of the landing and all of this. So, right. So I'm climbing up. The lady from Spain is climbing the stairs and smoking a cigarette at the same time. She and her companion have long since passed me. And and I was in shape at that time. I'm starting to huff and puff. And I say, excuse me, how long till we get to the top? Because we're trying to get to the, what are they called? Turrets or something?
Yeah.
So we're trying to get there and walk outside. And so the director's like, oh, Stephanie, We're almost there. And my friend's like, Stephanie, she's not telling the truth. I just turned the corner. We have so many more corners to turn. And by the time I make it outside, the lady is already up there just smoking a cigarette. I should have ran up these stairs and just dealt with the fallout from it.
So funny.
Cracks me up, 'cause George, George is Schaefer's a heavy smoker.
Me too.
Mhm.
So he smoked all throughout the academy and he played soccer. In fact, he actually had a contract to go
Mhm.
pro. So he would smoke a cigarette during the game. And, when they had a break, he'd puff about 3 down in rapid
Mhm.
succession, let's go out there and play. I mean,
I was driving one
it's,
and I thought maybe I wasn't driving, I was dreaming because I saw a lady jogging and smoking at the same time.
No way.
Yes, you can ask Jamisa because I picked up the phone and called her and I said, Jamisa, I'm making sure that I'm not dreaming. I said, but remind me of this conversation. And she's like, no, you're not dreaming. I'm like, there's a lady jogging and smoking at the same time. All right, we're gonna go on the record. All right, I'm gonna let you all know which jurors will be on the jury. I'll call them out by number. On page 1, number 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. From page 2,
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on.
what you need me to say again?
If you don't mind, please, you went a little fast.
All right, so from page 1, it will
Uh-huh.
be number 8,
Uh-huh,
9,
okay.
13,
Mhm.
14,
Mhm.
15,
Mhm.
16, and 17.
And
Any
so,
objection to those being on the panel? State.
once, 9,
no objections, Judge.
no
No
objection from the
objections
state.
The defense, any objection from the state?
No objection from the state.
From page 2, the following jurors, number 24, 25, 31, 35, and 36. Any objection, state?
24.
Judge, I'm sorry, can you read those numbers again? I apologize.
24,
Uh-huh.
Yes,
25,
yes,
Mhm.
31,
yes.
35, and 36.
No objection from the state.
Any objections from the defense?
No objections, Judge.
And the alternates will be 43 and 44. Any objection, state?
43 and 44. No objection from the state.
Defense, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And we can go off the record. Let's bring the jurors in, please.
Would you like the defense to rise?
Yes.
True bill of indictment, in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Bexar County, state of Texas, duly organized and paneled and sworn as such at the September-October term AD 2024 of the 290th Judicial District Court of said county, in said court, at said term, do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment. Count 1. Aggravated assault of a deadly weapon on or about November 5th, 2023, Shelby Jean Rodriguez, hereinafter referred to as defendant, did use and exhibit a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, and the defendant did intentionally and knowingly threaten imminent bodily injury to Anthony James Rodriguez, hereinafter referred to as complainant, by pointing said deadly weapon at and in the direction of the complainant. Count 2, aggravated assault deadly weapon. On or about November 5th, 2023, Shelby Jean Rodriguez, hereinafter referred to as defendant, did use and exhibit a deadly weapon, namely a knife, that in the manner of its use and intended use was capable of causing death and serious bodily injury. And the defendant did intentionally and knowingly threaten imminent bodily injury to Anthony James Rodriguez, hereinafter referred to as complainant, by pointing said deadly weapon at and in the direction of the complainant against the peace and dignity of the state.
All right, to that, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
All right, you may be seated. State, do you have any opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you. This is the court, the counsel.
Accountability. That's what this case is gonna be about, so being held accountable for the that you've done. Not everybody likes it, not everybody wants it, but we as a state expect you commit a wrong, you will be held accountable. By the end of this trial, it'll be easy for you to determine, because this is not gonna be too difficult to determine. It will be easy for you all to determine. That defendant sitting right there threatened the life of the complainant in this case with 2 different deadly weapons. But yet she felt like she would not be held accountable for doing so. You're gonna hear about the lives of a couple throughout this trial. That couple is Shelby Rodriguez and her husband Anthony Rodriguez. We'll hear about their marriage. We're gonna hear that it was not a perfect marriage. You will hear that they had 3 beautiful children together. You're gonna hear about the things that they like to do together as a family. You'll hear about how things got tough and what caused things to get tough in their marriage. And you will hear how unfortunately that marriage came to an end. You are going to hear from Anthony Rodriguez. He is going to get up on the witness stand right there. He's going to testify. He's the complainant in this case, and he will tell you how he became the complainant in a criminal case. He will tell you in more detail about his marriage to Shelby. He's going to tell you about the obstacles that were in place throughout their marriage. He will tell you how he endured those. Both endured those. Yes, infidelity will be discussed. He's going to tell you about how some of his own behavior caused those obstacles. He's going to tell you about how his own infidelity took place. He'll tell you that when that came up, he wanted to walk away, just like you heard juror number 34 say. He's going to tell you about how his own wife, the defendant, reacted when he told her about his infidelity. He's going to tell you she pointed a gun at his head, threatened to kill him, placing him in fear for his life, not only his own life, but the lives of their 3 children that were in the immediate vicinity of both of them while this was all going on. You will hear him say he was begging the defendant, please, not in front of the children. You're also gonna hear from SAPD Officer Jordan Hernandez. You're gonna hear him testify about his arrival to the scene, his interaction with Shelby Rodriguez and Anthony Rodriguez, and what he further did while he was there on the scene. You're gonna hear from SAPD Detective David Jacobs. He's gonna tell you about what he did when he got to the scene and the evidence that he collected while he was there on the scene. Lastly, you're gonna hear from SAPD Detective Justin Carrion. He's gonna tell you about the investigation that he conducted in the case and how he was able to determine that a crime was indeed committed. Now, as I mentioned to you at the beginning, this trial is all about accountability, right? Everyone has to be held accountable for the wrongs they do in life, no matter how justified they may feel at the time in doing these wrongs. Everyone has to be held accountable for the consequences of their actions. We are asking that you hold that defendant accountable for what she did that day. You find her guilty of aggravated assault. Now,
Defense, any opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor. May it please the court, counsel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you again for being here. I think as I told you, and for Dyer, no one asked for jury duty, but quite simply, you can't have this process without all of you. You have my thanks for being here. You have Shelby's thanks. This is a case of domestic violence. This is a case of a woman living in an unhappy marriage, in a dangerous marriage, who was forced to point a weapon at her husband in self-defense. We are not disputing that a weapon was displayed that evening. We are not going to dispute that it was a gun. What it's going to matter is going to be the why. In a lot of sense in the law, we're not concerned about why. We're not concerned about motive. In this case, it's a bit different. It's everything. This wasn't a woman who pulled a weapon and just said, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to hurt you arbitrarily. She did this in response to physical threats and acts of violence that evening that could only be countered by an equal threat that rose to the level of justification of the use and display of deadly force. I anticipate you're going to hear from the state's witnesses. I'm not sure exactly. You're going to hear from the complaining witness. You're going to hear from the detective, but you're also going to see and hear other evidence that's going to fill in those key pieces. I think you saw during Dyer, you saw a picture of a tree with missing pieces and said, oh, you have it there. This is all about those missing pieces, and that's what the defense is going to show for you, and that's what we're going to do for you. There was a weapon displayed that night. We're not going to dispute the evidence shows it, but what's going to be important and what's ultimately going to lead to the correct verdict, a verdict of not guilty, is why that weapon was displayed and what happened in the moments leading up to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm confident that after you hear everything, after you see all the evidence, that you will return the only verdict which makes sense, and that is not guilty as to the offense of aggravated assault. I thank you for your time, your patience and consideration, and your attentiveness throughout this process. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, state, you may call your first witness.
okay. At this time, you want to,
Can we approach?
sure.
Sorry.
Time state would call Officer David Jacobs.
Talk about what? Take the Anthony.
If you could pin this on your call.
You want to take Charlie off of the- or do you want to take him up? You can just leave it there.
I'll just adjust it.
Yeah. I know.
If you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that members of the jury can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
If you'll state your name for the record.
David Jacobs.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Officer Jacobs. Excuse me, Detective Jacobs. My apologies. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Detective Jacobs, San Antonio Police Department, been on 18 years. Been a
Hey.
detective now for about,
Let's take that one at a time. Detective, I'm sorry. All right, so you mentioned you're employed with SAPD, correct?
yes, sir,
How long have you been with SAPD?
18 years.
Okay. Can you please explain to the jury how you initially got to applying for SAPD and the process of that?
Back then it was apply online and go take a test with everybody else. If you get high enough on the test, they call you in and you start the academy.
Okay. Could you explain that academy process to the jury, please?
Learning about law, also physical fitness, just, I don't know, a lot of other stuff too.
What kind of, when you say the law, what kind of specific things would you learn in the classroom while you're at the academy?
Texas Penal Code, Criminal Code of Procedure, our general manual.
Okay, and then you also mentioned there was a physical component to being at the academy, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Could you please explain what that is to the jury?
Usual, just kind of like the military, I guess. Very military based. Mess up, run with everybody, or do push-ups and running with your class, all that kind of stuff.
How long is the academy with SAPD?
Back when I went through it was 6 months. Now I
Okay.
think it's 8.
Okay, it was 6 months when you went through it. What happens at the end of that 6 months?
You take your oath, get your badge, and then you become a probationary officer. And you,
Okay, let me stop you right there. Do you just, as soon as you graduate, you become an officer, or is there an exam you have to take right at the end of the academy?
yes, there's plenty of exams you have to.
Is,
Take.
is there one final one that allows you to graduate, or is this it
Yes,
based
it's
upon
a
all the other
default
ones?
to make sure everything you've learned.
And I apologize for talking over you. I'm gonna try not to talk over you so that it's easier for the court reporter to maintain a record, okay? Okay, so after you graduate, you said you go through an FTO process, is that correct?
Yes, sir. You ride along with another seasoned officer to kind of learn the ropes and learn what to do, what not to do.
Okay,
Learn about helping out people.
how long is the FTO process? When you were going through it?
3 months, once on each shift, morning, afternoon, and night shift, and then you had your phases of evaluation where it was a week where you're getting evaluated, two evaluations until after that. Then if you passed everything, they let you go on your own.
Okay, so you mentioned 3 different phases.
Yes, sir.
What are those 3 phases, please? Can you explain that to the jury?
There's different shifts on the department. There's a morning shift, afternoon shift, and a night shift. There's even a midday shift as well now too. But back then it was you ride for a month with an officer and you basically go to calls, anything you call the police for, accidents, domestic disturbances, anything you call the police for, you're showing up to find out, kind of learn the ropes, what to do and what not to do.
Okay. And what happens at the end of that 3-month process?
You meet with supervisors, they see if you've met all the standards that they want, and then once they say you have, then they cut you loose to be on your own. You don't have to ride with somebody anymore.
Okay, and is that what happened to you?
Yes, sir.
So you successfully completed the academy, correct?
Yeah.
And you successfully got through the FTO process?
Yes, sir.
So then at that point, you were assigned by SAPD to be on your own?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what was your position at that time with SAPD after you finished your FTO process?
Probationary officer.
Okay, and how long were you a probationary officer?
It's for a year.
A year, okay. What happens after that? Well, explain to the jury what a probation officer is.
Probation officer in a nutshell means if you're on probation, if you mess up, the city can basically say, we're done with you, and they can fire you. You're kind of like an at-will employee. You have to show that you've learned a lot and you're not messing up, basically.
Okay, did you have a successful probation period?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what happened after that 1 year of probation?
Stayed on patrol and was patrol officer for 8 years, I think.
Okay. Do you recall the areas of San Antonio that you were assigned to patrol during that 8 years?
Yes, sir. North Patrol.
North Patrol, was that the entire 8 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of shifts did you work while you were on North Patrol shift, North Patrol for
Mainly
8 years?
the midday shift, 1:30 to, well, back then it was 2 to 10.
Okay,
Now it's 1:30 to 9:30.
all right. Are you still currently a patrol officer?
No, sir. I'm a
And what is your current position?
detective.
Okay. Did you become a detective immediately after that 8 years as a patrol officer?
Our process is everybody who's eligible to test, after having 5 years on the department, and everybody tests, and based upon your score, they start at the top and work their way down, and you promote that way
Okay, so
based on how many slots there are.
and you successfully promoted after that 8 years?
Yes,
Okay. And that's your still current position, correct?
yes.
All right. Specifically though, are you what's referred to as a uniform evidence detective, or they refer to it as a UEDI?
Yes.
Could you explain what that is to the jury, please?
I'm on patrol still with the other guys, the patrolmen, but I carry around a camera. I go to like family violences for photos. I'll test narcotics for the officers that find narcotics on people. Burglary vehicles, burglary habitations. I'll go print the locations, try and look for fingerprints for bad guys. That's basically and then when I'm not doing any of that, I'm taking patrol calls like the patrolmen are doing.
And how long have you been doing that particular position?
9 years.
9 years? Okay. So altogether, you've been with SAPD for over 18,
Almost 19.
almost 19, right? Half of which patrol, and then the other half in your current
It's
position,
all
correct?
patrol, sir. It was all patrol.
Well, right, I understand, but different job titles is what I'm getting at,
Yes.
right? Okay. Were you working as a UEDI for SAPD on November 5th, 2023?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall responding to an incident at that day around we'll call it 6 o'clock in the afternoon? Could you please describe to the jury what happened when you got that call around that time?
I don't exactly remember what the call was for. I think it was for
We're looking at a copy of your report, have to refresh your recollection?
offense report too.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Detective, I'm having you what's been pre-marked as safety exhibit 1 for identification purposes. If you could just review it to refresh your memory and then look back at me when you're done. Has your memory been refreshed now, Detective?
Sure.
Okay, so do you recall what the call was about when you received it?
Disturbance. It doesn't say on here what the call was. I remember it had something to do with the family disturbance of some sort.
Do you recall where you responded to?
I think it has the address on here. Hayden.
Okay.
neighborhood back in there.
Okay.
Doesn't say it on this report, it's on the offense.
That's fine. Let me just have a brief minute. Can I approach the witness again, Nora?
Yes.
I think it was pretty much to take exhibit 2 for identification purposes, like you could review that for refresh your memory, look like. We need to finish.
All right, so you want to see the address?
Okay, do you recall the address that you responded to? To your knowledge, is that location within Bear County, Texas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what did you do when you first responded to that address?
It had vague information on the key card. It just said somebody got into a disturbance. And I think, I don't remember exactly what the key card said, but it said, it was very vague on. It said like a car was 2 houses down and then we got a name Shelby is all we had.
Okay.
They had a disturbance with.
All right, let me stop you right there real quick. You keep referring to key card. Now, I think you know what that is, but can you tell the jury what a key card is?
Whenever you call the police, the 911 call takers generate what's called a key card. It's got address, details, what's going on, phone numbers, who's calling. And on key cards, you can look at like by the address, it'll have like priors to the house or apartment, whatever the case may be. It just helps us figure out where we need to go, what's going on. And it also has a map too, so you can find out how to get the fastest way. That's what a key card is.
Okay. Now, with that information, were you able to find the correct address of where the call came from?
The vicinity, the street is how we had to start.
Okay.
But,
What did you do once you found the street?
we went close to where we thought was the correct house, but the key card was so vague that we had to basically go to where I thought would be close and not. And had to go about it asking for people's names when they open the door.
Were you able to determine the correct address after doing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did you do when you determined what the correct address was where the call came from?
Knocked on the door and somebody opened the door.
Okay, do you see the person that opened the door in this courtroom?
I do.
Could you please point to her and describe her by an article of clothing she's wearing?
The black and white dress.
Okay. What did you do when you came into contact with her?
Asked her name. I think we had it on the key card, said just a first name, I think. And what's going on.
Okay, did she provide a statement to you?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do after you got a statement from her?
I waited for Officer Hernandez, who was talking to the victim at a different, either on the phone or a different location, to find out the other side of it.
You identified the person earlier that you came into contact with first upon arriving to that address. You said you obtained her name, correct?
If I recall, yes, sir.
What was the name of that person you came into contact with?
Shelby Rodriguez. I only had heard Shelby at first because
Oh.
that's all we had, I think, on the key card was just Shelby.
Okay, and then throughout your interaction with her, were you able to get her last name?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now you testified you got a statement and then you were waiting for Officer Hernandez, who was having contact with the complainant, correct?
Yes, sir.
What happened after that?
After that, he asked me what I had been told, and we conferred about what the complainant had told him and figured out that there was some similarities in the talk, but there was a lot missing.
Okay. What did you do after that?
Went back to the defendant and started talking again, asking what else had happened.
Okay, and after obtaining that additional statement from
Your
the,
Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
thank you, Your Honor. Detective Jacobs, after you obtained that second statement from the defendant, what was your next step in the course of you being there?
We made sure that Officer Hernandez had heard it, and then he contacted the follow-up detective
Okay.
to tell them what had happened.
At any point, did you enter the residence of the address that you responded to?
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
We talked on the front
okay.
porch.
Did you ever come into contact with the complainant in this case?
No, sir, not until later on, until he actually came back to the house.
Okay, all right, so what happened then later on as you described? Can you tell the jury what happened?
Like when he came back,
What you did next in the course of your investigation there?
after we talked to her and they talked to the follow-up unit, we had the complainant come back. We had him sign a consent to search, and we went into the location to retrieve the weapons that
Okay,
were used in the crime.
I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Detective Jacobs, I'm handing you as a pre-marked as State Exhibit 3 for identification purposes. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
The consent to search.
How do you know it's a consent to search?
It has consent to search written right at the top, and it has our SAP form on the bottom right. And it has the case number on the top right there.
Is it in the same, substantially the same condition as it was when, or, sorry, before I finish that question, who filled this form out?
Writing up top sort of looks like my information, my handwriting up here.
Okay, so you filled out part of it?
Yes, sir.
Did you fill out the whole thing?
Just names, the case number, and my signature.
Okay, is it, as you remember at that time, with your information, the same, substantially the same condition as it was on the day of the incident?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, has this document been altered in any way?
Not to my knowledge, it looks like everything good.
Thank you. I'm going to tender to defense and offer into evidence at this time, State Exhibit 3 for identification purposes, for any objection.
We've had a chance to review. We have no objections to State's Exhibit 3, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit number 3 is admitted without objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I approach the witness again, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm handing you as a pre-marked as State Exhibit 4 for identification purposes. Do you recognize what this is?
Yes, sir.
How do you recognize it?
I packaged it up.
Um, have you had a chance to view what's in this?
Not since I packaged it up, sir. No, sir. That's the same. That's my handwriting on the front.
Okay.
My initials after I sealed it.
Since you packaged it up, is it in the same or essentially the same condition as it was on the day of the incident?
Here, sir.
Your knowledge, has that been altered in any way?
Not that.
Do you recall where you first saw what's State's Exhibit number 4?
I believe it was in the kitchen,
Hmm.
on the countertop.
And what did you do when you saw it?
Stayed there until we photographed it and did our usual collection with it.
Okay. How do you know that what's in that bag is the exact same item that you saw at the house?
I don't, sir, unless I open it.
Would you please go ahead and do so?
I don't know if you have to lie, but fine.
Can I have parties approach
Yes, sir.
before you open?
Yes, ma'am. We open it all. Okay. Need more than that?
Um, For now, as you see this, detective, is that the same knife that you collected into evidence on the day of the incident?
Here, so, sir.
You may go ahead and remove the sheath. And look at the knife to your knowledge and seeing it now that you collected into evidence on the day of the incident.
Yes.
How did you go about retrieving this knife after you collected it into evidence?
Go by what?
Retrieving the knife after you collected it into evidence that day. How did it come into the court?
Oh, called the property room, the San Antonio property room, gave them the case number, went down there right before court and told them they have a list of all the evidence that's per case. Give them the case number. They say, what did you need from the case? You tell them, I needed all the evidence, and they present it to you based upon the case number. Here they are.
When you mentioned the property room earlier, is that where the knife originally went? After the day when you took it into custody?
Yes,
When did you take it to the property room?
that night.
So to your knowledge, has it been in the property room since the day of the incident up until now?
To my knowledge, yes, sir.
Yes. we approach real quickly on?
Yes.
Thank you.
And defense, you may move about the courtroom.
Yes, sir.
This time, I say we're offering to evidence take exhibit 4A, 4B, and 4C.
Defense has no objections, Your Honor.
All right, and for the records, states exhibit 4 is the package and 4A, 4B, and 4C are the contents.
Correct.
All right, then states exhibits 4, 4A, 4B, 4C is admitted without objection.
And just for clarification of the record, while 4A is the package, 4A, 4B, and 4C refer to the cardboard wrapping, the case of the knife, and the knife itself. That was within package 4.
Thank you.
Yeah, proceed, Your Honor.
Yes,
Yeah, approach the witness.
yes.
Mr. Jacob, I'm handing you the pre-marked take exhibit 5 for identification purposes. Do you recognize what this is?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
I packaged it. Or
When did you package it?
same night as I packaged the knife.
Okay, what happened after you packaged the gun or the contents of what's the criminal exhibit 5?
Made it safe, and after I photographed it at the scene, made it safe, photographed some more, and then I took it down to the property room.
To your knowledge, before today, did it remain in the property room the entire time?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do to go about getting it out of the property room?
Same process as I did the knife.
And is that how it came into the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if you would please go ahead and open state exhibit number 5. Not just. Now, Detective Jacobs, you just opened what is in pre-marked as Exhibit 5 for investigation purposes, and you identified to the jury what is now pre-marked as Exhibit 5A and 5B.
Firearm, the pistol, a Kimber. Was it Mako? Yeah, R7 Mako, 9mm.
What's in the contents of 5A?
2 magazines and 20 rounds of Sig Sauer hollow point rounds.
Does what appears to be 5A the same thing you collected into evidence the night of the incident?
Yes, sir. That's my handwriting outside of the bag.
To your knowledge, has either the envelope for 5A or the item of 5B been altered or amended in any way?
No, sir.
Do they appear to be in the same condition they were the night of the incident?
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you please now open up what's been pre-marked as Exhibit 5A?
I don't think you want all the rounds running around, do you?
That's fine.
All right.
Could you describe to the jury though, the 2 items that you pulled out? What are those?
2 magazines for that pistol,
What are magazines used for?
to hold rounds for that pistol.
Whereas these, the same 2 magazines that you took into evidence the day of the incident?
Yes, sir.
Could you please describe to the jury what is remaining within the contents of the envelope of Exhibit 5A?
20 rounds of 9mm Sig Sauer hollow point rounds.
Pull just one.
Leave it out.
That you can put. And here, at this time, your state will offer into evidence what has been pre-marked as Exhibit 5, 5A and 5B into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor. For clarification, are y'all gonna mark the magazines as exhibits?
We've got you. Yes, I'm sorry.
And Your Honor, we have as 5B is the weapon, 5A is an envelope containing approximately 20 rounds of ammunition.
5C will be 1 magazine and 5B will be.
And then 5C will be 1 magazine, 5B will be the other.
Right, so you're offering in evidence States Exhibit 5, 5A, 5B, and 5C?
And 5D as well, Your Honor.
Okay. Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, States Exhibits 5, 5A, 5B, 5C, and 5D is admitted without objection.
Now, Detective Jacobs, you described that while you were on the scene, you took photographs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall what exactly you took photographs of?
The scene, victim and suspect, and the weapons, if I recall.
And what did you use to take those photographs?
A city issued camera.
Is it the usual one that you have about when you're on patrol?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, was that camera operational and functional that day?
Yes, sir.
After you took the photographs, what was the next course of step in your investigation while you were on the scene?
After all the photographs after you take all the photographs of everything, then it's collection of the evidence.
And when you say collection of the evidence, are you referring to the evidence that's before you right there?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do after you collected the evidence?
Back in my patrol car and drove downtown.
Okay. Where exactly downtown did you arrive at?
The property room at 401 South Frio.
What did you do when you arrived at the property room?
packaged them up how they were and placed them in the lockers, secure lockers.
Okay, so they were not packaged ahead of time prior to your arrival at that location, correct? So how were the evidence transported that's in front of you from the scene to the location where you collected it into the envelopes?
By me,
Uh,
back of my patrol car.
Back of your patrol car, okay. Is there a secure location in the back of your patrol car where you keep this evidence, and what is that secure location, please?
In the back, the very back of the Explorers, has
Okay.
a cage and.
Well, I guess I'm sorry, that one might have been a vague question. What I'm trying to get at is, do you have like a container in the back that you keep the evidence in, or you just keep it this there in the back?
I have bags back there and I just put it back there. That way it's not accessible to the public.
Okay, so when the evidence arrived to the property room, as you described earlier, it was within the bags that you had in the back of your patrol car, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you took the bags inside to the property room?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did you do when you did that?
My standard processing that I was taught when I promoted to detective about how to make the firearm safe and packaging purposes.
How do you make the firearm safe when you get to the property room?
Make sure it's empty, unloaded, zip tie, and writing stuff on the bag, firearm made safe, and keeping the magazines and the rounds separate from the firearm.
Okay,
And then the knife wrapped in cardboard.
you
Make sure it doesn't
mentioned,
cut anybody.
right, understood. You'd also mentioned the zip tie on the gun. What is the zip tie for?
To make sure anybody looking at it knows that it can't be fired and that it's made safe.
Okay, so that's to prevent someone from pulling the trigger essentially?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Well, they can pull the trigger, but it's a dead trigger. It won't.
it won't do anything, correct? Okay. Um, do you recall who you gave it to that day when you finished packaging all the evidence?
We have lockable lockers at the property room, and when you're all said and done, you have everything packaged up and your labels made with the case number and all that stuff. Then you put it into the lockers, you close it, and you lock it. Nobody has access to that other than the property room staff.
Is there a way to keep record of anyone who wants to access any type of evidence in the property room that you're aware of?
I don't know their process, sir. No, sir.
To your knowledge, other than you putting it into evidence that day, has anyone viewed this evidence before?
I noticed a sign on here from NIBIN, which means it was looked at by NIBIN with the department to make sure they're the ones that make sure it's not a gun used in another crime somewhere else. Other than that, it's exact same packaging.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Detective Jacobs, I'm handing you what has been pre-March 6 Exhibit 6 through 34 for identification purposes. Could you please look through these and tell me if you recognize them?
Yes, sir. Remember these?
To your knowledge, are these the photographs that you took on the night of the incident?
Yes, sir.
And I know there's quite a few, I don't think it's necessary to go through each one individually, but could you please describe to the jury generally what is contained in these photographs, please?
Start with a photo board, address, case number, my name, badge, camera I use, district.
Your Honor, before we publish to the jury, I'm fine with them answering what they are generally, but the defense would like to inspect them before they're admitted or published.
Thank you. So don't show the photos to the jurors until I announce that they've been admitted to evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So just looking at the photographs yourself and not letting the jury see, can you just describe in general, as I mentioned, what 6 through 34 contain, please?
Photo board, pictures of the knife, pictures of the firearm, Looks like exhibit 10 here is the victim's forearm. Victim's forehead. Where the knife was located in the kitchen. The gun after it was removed from where it was placed. The kitchen where the offense apparently took place. And then after I pulled the fire, what number did you say? Told 30, did all of them?
All of them, if you don't mind.
Okay, then the firearm after I removed it, after I took pictures in its initial state, after I unloaded the magazines. The kitchen area again, victim's body part, the knife, more pictures of the kitchen knife. More pictures of the kitchen, the gun. The address of the house. Victim's face. The knife. And that seemed to be it.
Do these fairly and accurately depict the pictures that you took this day?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, have these photographs been altered or amended in any way?
No, sir.
All right, this time, state law send evidence case exhibit 6 through 34 for identification purposes, and we'll tender to defense for any objection.
Just a moment, Your Honor, briefly.
Yes.
Your Honor, to the extent, only possible objection the defense may have is 7 and 8 appear to be duplicates of the same photo.
All right, if I could see the exhibits, please. Oh, the entire unit. Thank you. All right, if I could have parties approach. So defense, you're withdrawing your objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, any other objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor, no objections as to the photographs.
All right, then states exhibit 6 through 34 are admitted without objection.
At this time, state will pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense?
Good afternoon, Detective. How are you doing today?
Yes, sir.
All right, my name is Adam LaHood. I'm a defense attorney. Have a few questions for you. If at any time I'm confusing or I go too fast, or you don't understand what I'm asking, just let me know and I can rephrase for you, all right?
Will do, sir.
All right. Just to recap, I know we went through a lot of the background. How long have you been a police officer total?
Over 18 years, sir.
18 years, all right. At that time, you've responded, is it safe to say, to thousands of calls?
Pretty safe to say yes, sir.
All right. You said that you were a detective, but correct me if I'm wrong in the characterization, you wear a uniform and you're in the field. Is
Yes.
that a fair assessment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Some detectives are behind the scenes doing you're out, I guess, in the trenches with all the other guys, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um. The state showed you some photographs that evening. If you know, how many photographs did you take?
Says on my report, 90 photographs.
Okay, so quite a bit.
Yes, sir.
And is that normal for a call? Get out, document, photograph everything?
Better to have too many, sir, than not have enough.
I agree. You said that you took photos of the complaining witness. Did you take any photographs of the suspect that night, of Miss Rodriguez?
I believe I did, sir.
Just one moment, sir. Oh, here it is. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
So Detective, I'm going to show you two photographs, and if you can tell me, if you know, did you take these photos?
Appears so.
Okay. And if you know, what are those photographs of?
The suspect?
I'm going to mark these as defense exhibits 1 and 2 and offer them to evidence pending any objections by the state, Your Honor.
Oh. No objection from the state, Your Honor.
All right, defense exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted without objection.
Sure. I'm going to hand you back. These have been admitted. Taking a look at defense exhibit number 1. What are we looking at here, sir?
Looks like a side view of the suspect.
Side view of the suspect. Okay. And you see what color pants she's wearing?
Yes, sir. Looks like floral.
Like a blue and floral
Floral,
pattern?
maybe yoga pants. I don't know.
There you go. Okay. I'll get back to us. I understand. Do you see anything on her arm?
Maybe a little bit of redness, maybe.
Above her elbow. Do you see a Band-Aid?
I do.
Okay. Did you talk to her that evening, inquire about anything, or were you there on more of a, well, when you're photographing, was it she was being silent to be photographed, or were you asking her about anything, or no?
No, I'm pretty sure she was silent when I was photographing her.
I understand. Let's look at it, defense exhibit number 2. Kind of, yeah, there we go. What are we looking at here?
The insides of her hands.
Okay. And why do you photograph insides of hands?
I do basically the same for family violence every time.
And why is that?
To be consistent, sir.
To be consistent?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything specifically you're looking at when you're trying to photograph hands?
Anything on the hands, or I do also fingers to see about anything on the fingers.
In this photo, do you see anything on her hands?
That would be her. It looks like there's something on, maybe something on her inside of her left hand.
Okay. Would you categorize those as red spots?
That's fair.
Possible that's blood?
Objection is speculation, Your Honor.
No,
That'll be, just a second, that'll be overruled. You can answer the question if you know.
I don't know, sir.
you don't know. Okay. Could it be blood?
Objection is speculation, Your Honor.
That will be sustained.
Did you ask her about anything that you saw on her hands that evening?
Not reviewing my actual body cam footage, sir, I wouldn't be able to tell you. It's almost been 2 years.
I understand completely. Your Honor, may we publish these to the jury?
Yes.
One moment, Your Honor. Detective, just a few more questions and then we'll pass you on. I know you're there photographing, you took photographs of the firearm that evening, correct?
Yes, sir.
If you know, where was the firearm and the knife actually, when you went into the house? Were they in a drawer, on a cabinet? If you know.
I believe the knife was in a drawer in the
Okay,
kitchen. And I believe The knife was, I'm sorry, the firearm was in a cabinet in the kitchen?
So when it was photographed, if you know, well, you would know this, did you retrieve the weapon from the cabinet, referring to the firearm?
Without reviewing my body cam footage, sir, it's been 2 years.
Sir, and I
I
understand.
don't remember.
No, it's fine. But at some point, the weapon made it down onto the countertop, and that's where it's photographed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you're not sure if it was on the countertop when you went into the house or if it was in the cabinet?
I don't remember exactly, sir, no.
Okay. Officer, thank you very much. Your Honor, we'll pass this witness.
All right, state.
Thank you. Detective, you were asked by the defense attorney on cross-examination about, asking about the victim's hands and whatnot. Sorry. Of the defendant's hands. Is it your job when you're in scene to obtain full statements of all parties involved?
No, sir.
Whose job would that be?
The follow-up detective.
Okay, so is essentially your job in your position with SCPD to arrive and collect evidence, take photographs, things like that?
Yes, sir. To collect evidence, take photographs, and then everything else is for patrolmen to go talk to the follow-up detective on.
Okay. You were asked by defense about where the firearm and the knife were located. There were other officers on scene, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you didn't take it out of the drawer or the cabinet, could other officers have placed it there on the counter?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, did you photograph the knife and the firearm in positions that they were in when you entered the residence?
Absolutely, sir.
Did you move them about any time before you photographed them?
The initial photographs, no, sir.
After you took the initial photographs, did you move about the knife and the firearm?
Yes, sir.
Where did you move them?
To the back of my patrol car.
Okay. And then, as you testified earlier, from there, you just took it down to the SCPD property room, correct?
Yes, sir.
No further questions. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Very briefly, Your Honor. Detective, is it in your duties to swab for blood or collect fingerprints at a crime scene?
I can, yes, sir.
You can't. Did you swab for blood or fingerprints that evening?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
At least the swabbing part.
One moment. Is there any reason why you didn't swab or test for presumptive presence of blood on the defendant's hands?
No, sir.
Now we'll pass the witness.
If you had any inclination that that type of evidence should be collected, would that have been in part of your normal duties and responsibilities?
Yes, sir.
What would lead you to want to collect DNA swabs, bloods, evidence, fingerprints, things like that?
When I'm asked to,
Who would you be asked to by that?
the follow-up detective.
Did you get any indication from the follow-up detective to collect that type of evidence?
No, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject to recall?
We ask that he be subject to recall.
All right, you may step down. Just make sure you're available if either party wishes to recall you. And if you will leave the exhibits with the court reporter, please.
I'll help.
Package you back up
If you don't mind, please, yeah. If there's-
All right, state. Call your next witness.
Will you approach, Your Honor?
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to recess at this point. These are my instructions. Follow my instructions to the letter. Do not deviate from these instructions. So we're going to be back tomorrow at 1:30 to resume this trial. Now, the parking spaces. If you arrive here by 12:30, you'll probably be able to get a parking space because many times people who work in this building leave, I call it leaving campus or going off campus for lunch. If you try to come in exactly at 1:15 or 1:20, you may not be able to have a parking space because that's when everybody comes back, because every other court usually starts their afternoons at 1:30. The same number of jurors who came up with you in the central jury room, those are the same number of jurors that will be here tomorrow, and they're looking for parking spaces as well. You do not have to do any investigation on this case. Do not do any investigation on this case. Do not Google anybody's name. Do not look at anything. Do not even think about this case other than when you are in the courtroom. You are not to do your own investigation work. Everything that you're to know about this case is to come from inside this courtroom and nowhere else. Does everyone understand? The deputy is going to make sure that you all have official badges saying that you're jurors of the 187 District Court. Make sure that you wear those at all times when you're in the courthouse, or even when you're walking around downtown, because sometimes, oh, parties, you may be seated, because sometimes attorneys may be speaking about a case. Sometimes people want to talk to witnesses briefly. And if they see you have your badge, they'll know that you're a juror and they probably shouldn't be talking around you about anything. So it's just to make sure that everybody knows that you're a juror. This courtroom, some people say it's too cold. I think it's a pleasant temperature. There is a thermostat behind me. If it would make you all feel better, I can get up. I can pretend to lower, or raise the number. Let me just tell you that thermostat doesn't work. I'm not in charge of the thermostat. It's just there. It's a placebo. But if you ever want me to touch it, you just say, Judge, could you work with the thermostat? We don't complain about it being too cold in here because at one point in time, it would get to be 89, 90 degrees in here. So you can bring whatever jacket you want to bring. I know the chairs are uncomfortable. I'm slowly working on trying to get pillows for every chair. If you want to bring a pillow from home, you're more than welcome to do so. With regards to drinks, you're allowed to bring drinks in, but make sure it has a top on it. We try to keep the rug as clean as possible, and that will protect from spillages. Sometimes jurors they want to take notes. Does you no good to take notes, and this is why. Because if you're taking notes, that means that you're not actively listening and paying attention to the witnesses. Also, if you take notes and during deliberations, somebody wants to know what someone said, you're not allowed to have your notes because the official keeper of the record and what people said if you don't remember something, is the court reporter. So you won't be able to pull out your notes anyway. People believe that this trial may be concluded by Friday. As I said before, at the latest Monday. Does everyone understand? All right, the deputy is going to make sure that he gets everyone's number so that we'll have your number and you will have our number as well. We cannot start at 1:30 unless everybody is here at 1:30. Does everyone understand? All right, any questions before I send you back with the deputy? Okay, Jess, we're going down the row. All right, we can go off the record. Yes, back row, what's your question? Oh, they're going to give it to the court reporter. Thank you. Other question?
Are we starting 1:30 on Friday also?
No, Friday, we're going to start at 9. And Friday, there are no other jurors called up. So you'll have parking. Yes. Yes. And you cannot be fired from your, by your employer because you're on jury duty. Okay? Now, the other thing, when you meet here tomorrow at 1:30, you will not meet in the hallway. You will not meet in this courtroom. You're going to meet in the jury room. The deputy will show you where that is. In the jury room, there's a refrigerator, there's a toaster oven, there is a microwave. You're more than welcome to bring your lunch, bring your breakfast. No one will touch it. Except maybe one of you, if one of you wants to touch it, but no one else will touch it, okay? All right, any other questions? Yes. We don't do weekends unless you all want to do weekends. So just let me know. All right. Anything else? Remember, yes.
Just curious. What, it looks like you're sipping something.
Oh, so anyway, that's the court reporter and she is a voice recorder. So, but even though she's a voice recorder, everything that everyone is saying, she keeps everything. All right. Is there anything else? All right. So the deputy will show you to the back. Make sure you give him a number where you can be contacted. And on your badges, you'll have the court's number.
Your Honor, did the defense exhibits make it to the?
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, it needs to. I mean, it's clearly no harm, but still.
Hi. All right.
Have you turned it in?
Oh, I don't have one.
You don't have.
No. So I
All
had to
right.
keep saying that.
Everyone, please be seated.
Uh-huh,
That's fine. That's okay. So, when do you all expect to rest?
I would think that we can do all the witnesses and rest our case in chief tomorrow. We'll have witnesses, but I would imagine we could probably do closing arguments Friday morning.
All right. So how long are you expecting your witnesses to take tomorrow? How many more witnesses do you have for tomorrow?
Just
3. So I'm assuming complainant
and 2 officers.
and 2 officers. All right. So if you all have witnesses, will you be able to have them here by tomorrow?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So let's just plan on your having your witnesses here by tomorrow. If something happens, then we'll take your witnesses Friday. But I try to have closing arguments in the morning so that the jurors can concentrate all day.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
Nothing from the defense statement.
And counsel, we found the,
Oh, my goodness, thank you.
yes, so we'll make sure it stays in the freezer and it does have a band on the back.
Yeah.
So,
It helps, the ice numbs it.
okay. Well, when you need it,
30.
just go in the back, it'll be in the freezer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We were supposed to get a chart.
Mhm.
Before we get to our thing.
Yes, let me see if Barbara has
I have
completed that.
video playing already.
Oh.
And we'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. for our regular docket, and then they should be back at 1:30.